afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, September 8th, 2022, live at the South Point, Las Vegas, the home of Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews, VSiN. Just left lunch with the one and only Bernie Fratto of Fox Sports Radio. So I figured, why not? Give it a shot here. We'll bring in our co-host, Riley Magnuson from the Windy City. We'll talk Rams, Buffalo. Tonight, opening kickoff. Currently, Buffalo minus 2.5 and a 52 under over. I know everyone's got a lot of props up their sleeve. That's all I'm hearing is Gabriel Davis, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp. I mean, if you played Cooper Kupp last year, you just probably still counting your money. I mean, he was a cash cow every week. So it'll be interesting to see what Riley has to say. Also, on Riley's front, the Packers now 1.5 point favorites. So money coming in on the cheeseheads as we speak. Yesterday in baseball, I got to say this to the ECSI VIPs. We were on a roll. And when you try to open up the playbook a little more, it tends to bite you in the ass. And it did yesterday. Haven't played the Angels in 6 weeks. The numbers screamed Angels run line. We would have got hooked anyways. They end up bringing in a closer, and he gives up a couple of runs. They lose outright, hence we didn't play the minus 220 there. And then in the nightcap, we had the Astros minus 1.5, and we had their team total over 4.5. It couldn't have broke any worse. Tie it 3-3, goes to extras. Texas needed to score that one run. At least if Houston was going to win, they would have got the team total. We would have split. What happens? Texas doesn't score. Astros load the bases, and a pass ball, 4-3 final. So we get the reverse sweep there. Dead even 3-3 for the week. We're hoping to bounce back today. But without further ado, let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Afternoon, Riley.
Afternoon, my friend. Happy NFL start of the season. I am absolutely juiced. You're looking great over there. The background is looking awesome. Looks like you're having a blast over at South Point today. Saw the no ketchup on the dogs. Always going to get some respect from the Windy City when you go no ketchup on the dog. So you can post it 100 times over 100 days, and you'll get respect every day for no ketchup. So I'm jealous of that fact. But, yeah, only a handful of games left here for the night for MLB. Obviously, the talk of the town, at least in the sports world, is the NFL game tonight. So I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm juiced. I've got some thoughts on tonight's game. So I'm ready to rock, my friend.
I keep bringing this back. I got to bring it back again. It is kickoff day. I go back to June when the opening line came out. The Rams minus 1.5, defending champs. Obviously, Vegas knew where the money was going to be coming. It was coming in on the Bills side. Goes right to a pick'em and a snap. Buffalo leaks to a -1. Then the elbow issues with Stafford. Now to 2.5. There was here Chris Andrews last night. Moved the number to 3, and in 12 minutes moved it back to 2.5. He was trying to get a temperature gauge on if and when he had to do something like that. If you're on the Rams side, I would honestly suggest buy the hook, get the 3. I think you can get them right now at about plus 110, 115 on the money line. Under over stuck at 52. I mean, basic math says 28-24 here. Initial early thoughts, Riley.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I mean, the last thing on top of the narrative of this game, last night before I go to bed, I get the alert that, or it was either last night or the crack of dawn this morning, I honestly can't remember, that Stafford's never felt better in his life as far as where he's at with his arm now. So, yeah, the buzz was all Buffalo. Now you're starting to see a lot of buzz, at least I've seen from a lot of people in our lanes on the Rams lately over the last 24 hours or so. So, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think there are some traps here that are laid one way or another. There is some value for sure. A lot of people obviously all over that over from what I'm hearing, and typically is the case when you got two good offenses on the opening night of the season, but any standalone game, you're probably going to have the masses going for the over there. So I'll be staying away from the total on that one. But, yeah, I've got some – and not strong thoughts on who I think is going to win, but yeah, I'm leaning towards the Rams at this point. I kind of agree with you as far as if you can get a respectable price, or if you get the offer and go ahead and get that hook, because it could be a close game for sure. So I'll stay away from the total, and yeah, I've got some other props as well. Allen Robinson, the one guy you mentioned that I'm interested in, 62.5 receiving yards, anytime touchdown plus money. I'm a little interested in there with no Van Jefferson, but also, when you factor in, a lot of people down on him after his season last year. I talked about, you and I did yesterday, basically quit on the Bears last year. And so that's what you can almost entirely chalk up his rough season last year. And then you look through all the quarterbacks that he's had throughout his entire career, whether it's Jacksonville or Chicago. It's not exactly a star-studded list. Now you're throwing in Matt Stafford. So I think he's going to have a good season, and I think it starts here today. I think these receiving totals for him after today will probably rise a little bit above the 62.5 that we're seeing right now. So that is one that I've been looking at for the last 48 hours or so as far as receiving props in this game on the Rams side of things here today.
If I asked you a question, which team does this game mean more to? I mean, I know the hype. All the experts got the Bills going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. I think they are the team to beat, obviously, in the AFC East. I do see them with the number one seed. If any team could take a hiccup, obviously it's this team. I think they won't have much trouble in the AFC East.
Right.
And they'll do well in their non-conference schedule. Again, road game. It's, I think, a perfect storm for them. Meaning, a lot of people think it will be a letdown for the Rams, the banner, the rings. I've lived through this over a half dozen times with the Patriots and their ceremony and their opening day. They always seem to find a way not just to win, but to cover. I heard a stat that was amazing last night when I was doing the show with Brady Tinker and Dave Sharapan, that the last 21 or 22 Super Bowl champs are like 19-3 outright on the first game. So who's got more pressure? Who needs it more? Or kind of tough call there, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think it is a tough call to some degree. I'll add one more stat on that I just saw. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. I wish I could give credit. I'll see if I can pull the tweet up to add on to your Super Bowl champs. Super Bowl champs in week ones that are dogs by game time are 4-1 against the numbers. So this will be the sixth case of that. And if the Rams obviously take care of it, it'll be 5-1 for those dogs. So, kind of how you laid it out, I think a game like this would be more important for the Rams. NFC, AFC games, it's tough to deduct that. But basically what you're saying, and I totally agree, you've got a Bills team that's probably maybe the most winnable division, at least for a lot of people's eyes at this point, and probably will be, and that's my opinion, the most winnable division. And then you got the Rams team, who obviously is Super Bowl champs in one of the toughest division in all of football. It's probably the toughest division in the NFC for sure here. So these wins are really important, and I think there's probably some pride as far as not only defending your Super Bowl championship and getting off on a nice start and trying to have that same type of hunger, but you've got a team that everyone's already, on their way to crowning them as the next Super Bowl champion. So if you've got any pride as far as that is concerned in the Rams, you're going to want to thwart that off a little bit there. So I'm going to go with the Rams as far as who it means more to here, at least here on opening night here.
So instead of saving the meat and potatoes and going to baseball, then coming back to baseball, we've been on the football. So let's just pony up here. My thought process very simply is this: is if you are back in the Rams today, buy the hook, take them plus the 3. Again, I think you can get them around plus 115 on the money line there if you're feeling froggy there. I do know there's a stat out there that the Bills, with their wins last year, were like 9-1 when they won double digits or more. So if they win, it's going to be by 10 or more. Right. Even if they had that 10-point lead against the Rams today, the old backdoor little Joe to Cooper Cup or Davis, not Davis, excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here. The other wide receiver there.
Gabriel Davis, is that what you're trying to say?
No, for the Rams.
Oh, for the Rams. You got Robinson, Cup, Skowronek. Skowronek is the guy, probably number 3 tonight.
Yeah. So, or maybe a Tyler Higbee tight end touchdown.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, no, and I mean, I think that's very, very likely, obviously. If, the Rams If they're behind, then yeah, I could expect a backdoor cover for sure there. And yeah, some books don't offer that. I guess if you're stuck on a book where you're either 2.5 or 3.5 at -160, because I know there are some popular books that have that to where they don't allow you to grab that half a hook. I'm looking at DraftKings right now, and you can get that +3, but there are other ones that you can't get that 3. What would you suggest? Would you suggest going to the 2.5 or just going straight to the money line if you're trying to back the Rams and you can't get the +3?
And then it lands on 1 or 2, huh?
Yeah.
That is a great question. I think it's up to the individual, meaning do you value the 2.5 points and say it's not going to land on 1 or 2? Because
Right.
you're getting 2.5 at -110 versus getting the +115. Again, if it lands on a 1 or a 2, a missed extra point or something like that. So I guess I would take the 2.5 if you can't buy the hook. I feel more comfortable there. Now, listen, a lot of the sharps and experts swear by not buying hooks, the odds of it landing. Here's a good question.
Yeah.
Or when you're playing these games and the line's -1, I see all these people releasing -1. Well, the money line was -120. Okay. And they say the percentage of that to land on 1 is 4%. Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't want to invest 3 hours of my time because someone missed an extra point. I just consider it just win, baby. So
Yeah.
I'll spend the extra 10 cents on every 100 to just win and cash versus nothing worse than a push. It's
No.
like kissing your sister.
Right. No, 100%. I mean, unless you have an absurd, like your team's been losing by 24 points and they have some crazy, it's all or nothing and you get a push and when you thought you're completely dead, those are the ones maybe you'll take. But yeah, I'm with you. And those ones where it's like that, the prices, some books will give you a terrible price on that -1, but a reasonable price on the money line. So sometimes that does matter. And I think back to my own question of if you have a book where you're stuck with either 2.5 or 3.5, I guess get yourself another book, get yourself another option would be my other option to that question there. So, and certain confidence level for me also matters as far as sometimes I like to go aggressive with the money line. I can remember Bills versus Chiefs last year was a 2.5 spread. I think the Chiefs were favored by 2.5, but I was over the moon, beyond confident that the Bills were going to smoke them, and I think they ended up doing it. So I went with the plus money on the money line there. This one, when it's closer to, I think, a toss-up, then yeah, I like to take the points for sure. So any other props that you were interested in? I had 1 or 2 that I was interested in mentioning, unless you had something else there.
No, I mean, just off the top of my head, obviously, the Allen Robinson over 62.5 sticks out like a sore thumb. I am fading Cooper Kupp. I think no Van Jefferson. I think he fits right into that Robert Woods mold. I think you're going to try to get him off early and often to welcome to the team. Hey, you're not in Chicago anymore, kid.
No.
We're going to make you active here. That's number one. On the flip side, I do like the Gabriel Davis side there as well. He had a great game in Kansas City. He is going to be there. Listen, Stephon Diggs is a beast, but Gabriel Davis is right there as well. Interestingly, I would go with both of them with an anytime touchdown and keep your fingers crossed there. Other than that, I'm pretty neutral and kind of curious what you're saying.
Yeah, the only other 2, actually, as far as Allen Robinson, on certain books, you can still get full season total over 900 and a half, over 900 and a half receiving yards for the full season. I'm going to go, I grabbed the over on that one for him on the full season. List the quarterbacks that he's had: Blake Bortles, Chad Henne, Mitch Trubisky, Chase Daniel, Nick Foles with the Bears, Justin Fields, and Andy Dalton have been his starting quarterbacks. So, and with some health and some motivation on a winning team, I am going to go ahead and say that he gets up over 1,000 yards in this season. So that'll be the season prop for me there. But as far as this game, the other one that I've been seeing, and I get that if you want to go over, if you rode him a lot last year, Josh Allen, I see basically just about anywhere you can get his over rushing prop anywhere. The numbers that I'm seeing are all under 40 yards. Seems pretty damn too good to be true if you're asking me on that one. If he was really going to be running, a factor in the running game, I would imagine that one would be up 45, 50 yards for his prop. So I'm staying away from that, even considering going the under on that one. As he progresses, you got a different play caller. As he progresses in his career, I don't want to say bubble wrap here in week 1 for him as far as not getting him out into those rushing situations, but I think they're going to protect him and be a little less aggressive with him in running spaces and maybe keep him in the pocket a little bit more. That's where my head's at with that one. I agree or disagree there?
No, I agree. I had Andrew on this morning before us, and he talked about that rushing over as well with Josh Allen. Don't forget, Mr. Aaron Donald will be chasing you, so
Yeah.
you tend to run a little faster.
Right. No, for sure. The other one, I mean, as far as if you want to take the Bills at their word, as far as running the ball more with their running backs, obviously their running game has been ugly in the past, and this Rams rushing defense is good. A Singletary over 43.5. It's a tough pill to swallow, but if he had some early success last year for the Bills in the rushing game, I think up over 67 yards for a couple times there. And if they're going to hand the ball off more, especially here in week 1, I think it's probably going to be to him. So I'm a little interested in him to get over 43.5 rushing yards tonight, maybe get 50, 60 yards there.
Do you have any props on James Cook, the other running back in Buffalo?
I'll see if they've added it at this point here. I was struggling to find any numbers on him. I see Zach Moss over 11.5, Singletary on DraftKings now up to 46.5, but I did not see any James Cook numbers, no.
Be interested. I know he's a rookie. He's looked good. I think as the season progresses, he will definitely be the number 2 back. I'm not going to say here today that he'll pass Singletary, but if Singletary does have some hiccups, that's why they drafted him.
No, for sure, 100%. I was interested, hoping to see some numbers on him, but I think it's probably a toss-up there as far as what he could do if he's going to be, getting the ball more than 5-10 times. If he does, then great. But we'll see. So I don't think I have too many anything else beyond that. I'm obviously dipping my toes in anything I am doing. I'm just dipping my toes in, going light, not getting myself out of the game before Sunday happens and the rest of the season. So nothing crazy tonight from me, but a few things that I like there.
Same here. All right, let's go to the Diamond. There's only a handful of games. There's some games going on right now as we speak. Again, we got, when you're rolling, things are going good. We were, again, one swing away from potentially winning at least a split with the Astros yesterday. Again, the Angels, we had the Angels on the desk for 6 weeks. We were waiting until spring. And I feel guilty sometime when a game screams at me and I leave it on the desk and it just comes running in. I got bit in the ass yesterday. So we're 3-3. There are a couple games today, a couple numbers that are a little fishy. So interested to see what you say.
Well, to preface it, because I totally agree with you, I guess before we dive into these games, do you have any different thought process when you have the opening of NFL on the same day as this MLB slate? Is it business as usual, or are you taking this with a grain of salt knowing that there's probably not going to be as much action on these MLB games or eyes on these MLB games because people are watching, obviously, NFL? Does that change your process at all, or is it business as usual?
It makes it easier for us because everyone forgets about it. So they're all chomping at the bit here at the South Point. It's almost full right now in the seating area. There's afternoon action as their appetizer. They got action right now. Washington's up 7-4 over the Cardinals on one of the TVs. The Giants over here. So they're getting their little taste, the blood starting to flow before they double and triple down on tonight's game. So as this progresses, everyone forgets about baseball, where, again, with the extra wild card, there's a lot more meaningful games. Right. You can cherry pick the MLB leading up to the Monday night, the Thursday night football, and obviously Saturday in football.
Sure. Interested to hear your thoughts. I think I asked you a similar question back when it was college football and football kind of overlapping there. So always interested to hear that answer from different people and when you've got these big NFL events. So first one up, we just missed the start of Giants and Brewers. That is a doubleheader. The first one was Scott Alexander versus Corbin Burns. Burns, who hasn't been very good lately, 3 or 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs his last 3 starts. Did you have any thoughts there? And is that going to is game number 1 going to help you out with game number 2 at all? Or are you staying away from both of them altogether?
I don't know what to say about this Brewers team. I really don't. And, I think at this point they're a fade. I would expect a bounce back from Burns. If I had Biff's almanac right now, I'd say these two teams split. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think I'm with
Just stay
Freddie
away.
Peralta in game number 2 there.
Yeah, exactly. And then by then you'll be watching the football game anyways.
Right. Yep, fair enough. The other one up that we've got Miami and Philadelphia. You've got, Sandy Alcantara, Kyle Gibson. 9 straight losses for the Miami Marlins. Alcantara, 6 earned run last time versus Atlanta. Has been pretty damn good in bounce backs this season. Gibson, on the other hand, 7 earned runs over an inning and 2/3 versus the Giants last time out. Is this the day to end the streak for the Miami Marlins, and is Sandy Alcantara leading them to victory, or is this a spot where you might be interested in fading them again for the 10th straight time, and the Phillies have some value here?
I haven't said this in a while. I'm going to say this. Marlins first 5.
Okay. I actually really like that quite a bit there. I mean, 3 runs last night. That's typically the spot that they get to. But I'm kind of with you. I like finding spots to fade Kyle Gibson. He has not been as consistent in a bounce back, but Sandy Alcantara very, very true to these bounce back spots. So I like the first 5. You're right. We haven't had any first 5 sides here in a while with you and I here. So I'm with you on that one. But next one up is still a big series for now both of these teams, as the Yankee lead in the ALS the last few days has been managed nicely, but only 5-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. They are hosting for the 4th straight game the Minnesota Twins. Sonny Gray versus Cortez. Nestor Cortez back off the IL. Last pitched on August the 21st. Gray has been very solid lately. 2 earned runs or less in 7 of his last 8 starts. However, he's had kind of a short leash. 3rd time through the lineup. Has only been going 5-6 innings for the most part. You trust in the Yankees to complete the sweep, or is this a good spot to back Sonny Gray and the Twins to avoid that sweep, obviously, in a big race here for them?
I talked about it yesterday. Again, my honest 2 cents is it's a Twins line. It's a Twins number. It looks short. You don't know how many innings you're going to get from Cortez. But at some point, you have to realize that, the Yankees are the Twins' daddy. I mean, they just can't beat them. And so if you can't beat them, join them. If you've been following and betting the Yankees, just keep on doing it. It's an auto bet. It is a Sonny Gray number, but that means jack shit right now.
Yeah. Is there any, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Is there any bigger ownership in the MLB between these two teams? I mean, maybe a bad team against a good team, but the Twins during this time period have been the most consistent team in the AL Central over the last 20 years, and yet they are, like you said, the Yankees are their dad. They are. Plain and simple. Is there any bigger dominance right now in the last 10, 20 years?
I can't think of it. I really can't. I mean, it's just an automatic win. And it's not like the Twins aren't competitive in these games. They just find ways to lose. And good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. And this is a perfect example.
I'm trying not to smile too much and lose some karma for my White Sox, but it's been coming at the exact right time this week for my White Sox. So leading into the final game of the evening, 8:40 my time, I do believe, 9:40 back east, but this will be 6:40 your time over there on the West Coast. White Sox and A's start of a 4-game series here. Let's see. Last I checked the numbers, you've got Dylan Cease and J.P. Sears. Am I right to be concerned that this should be minus 250 or higher, or do you think this is a fair line here for the White Sox and Cease?
I think it's a fair line. I
Okay.
I was looking at that. Again, I'm not going to back a minus 185 or anything like that. Oakland just going through the motions, shows flashes like last night for a while. What do you got a run line at? Minus 105?
About minus 115, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I think probably you can find a good price about minus 105. Minus 110, I think, is maybe the best you can get.
Under over flat 7?
Yep. About minus 115 to the over 7.
And we got a lefty on the mound for Oakland, right?
Yes, he does kind of have reverse splits, so he's better against righties than he is against lefties. But yes, it is a lefty. Yep.
Maybe a White Sox run line. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, we need it. We need to take 3 out of 4 from the A's here and hope Cleveland and Minnesota keep struggling. But team total for these, White Sox over 4.5 plus 105, A's over 2.5 minus 125.
I mean, they're telling you that they don't think the White Sox are going to get to 5. Usually when they say that, you're looking at a 5-1, 5-2 final. I think you'll be comfortable with that run line.
I think so. Obviously, Cease coming off of the big near no hitter start, but it wasn't too. I mean, I don't think he pitched too many pitches. He obviously lost the no hitter, but against Oakland, it does make me feel better off the almost no hitter that it is Oakland here. So, yeah, we need it badly. That is about all we've got here today. Anything else to mention before we move on from the MLB?
What did you have on the first 5 for Alcantara money line?
Let's see. Alcantara, first 5, money line. Let's see. First 5, plus 100 money line for the Marlins. Plus a half is at minus 140.
We got a no going right now. Did you put it in?
So they got Gibson the favorite in the first 5 there, huh?
Minus 130, yep.
Walking on the field right now. Oh, I see somebody walking on the field right now.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think you're spot on with it. I mean, I think they got to be giving her some respect to a Gibson bounce back, I guess, but also just the 9-game losing streak for the Marlins. They just can't score right now, or the entire season, obviously.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I mean, as I said the other day, you gotta take it slow with these NFL games starting up. Obviously, everyone's gung ho, and I'm gonna have some action on it as well, and on Sunday. But you gotta go slight, gotta go low. Keep yourself. We got a couple college football games tomorrow. We got a boatload of college football games on Saturday, and then obviously Sunday, Monday NFL. So, yeah, take yourself, give yourself the most confident picks that you got. Don't go a pick for every single game like we see people do every single day. But, yeah, keep an eye out. We'll have a Big Ten show recording tomorrow, I do believe. I'll have a Big Ten blog on top of that. With Shy City Sports following that. I will have a Packers Week 1 blog. I had it all year last year. I'll be bringing it back this year, waiting on some additional props for the Packers before I lock in that blog. So keep an eye out. We'll have plenty of content, and we'll be rocking and rolling with some winners all weekend long in college football and NFL and the MLB, obviously. So it's an exciting week. I'm ready to rock, my friend.
Any news this morning on Alan Lazard?
Did not practice today. Still very much a question. If he practiced today, it was going to sound obviously a lot better. But I don't want to speculate. But I'm almost leaning towards no. Honestly, if he didn't practice today, it's almost leaning towards a no there.
All right. So tomorrow the plan is myself and Riley are going to go live with this Big Ten preview for the weekend at 2:30 Eastern time. Dan Alexander will be back on the Premier Lacrosse League and the playoffs there. And then a closing bell with Scott Webb will be back. It's been a while, and we're going to have our Mr. Lucky debut with Lucky's Corner, or Lucky's Lobby with his locks and bagels. So we're looking forward to that. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley Magnuson _1. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun with the NFL, guys. Listen, just dabble. You don't have to go crazy. We got weeks and weeks and weeks of action. Myself, Riley, and Scott will keep you updated. Today, we're live from the South Point. I want to thank Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews, the staff at Beeson. I want to thank Bernie Frado for spending an hour with me as well. That's when I get out to Vegas and I can go see some of the legends. It's always a great time. So, again, best of luck today. Enjoy. Be safe. Let's crawl before we can walk, people. We'll see you soon.